Am I the asshole for getting up in the chair in the middle of Christmas dinner and shouting "shut the fuck up" about my body in response to my husband's observation? Oh wow, so we start with a really inflammatory title, and the story is going to be something like, we were at Christmas and my husband said either I had nice or I'm getting too fat and I should stop eating. And so in a really brave, okay, sorry, internet lag. So in a really brave moment, I stood up and I screamed at him, standing up both physically and metaphorically for women everywhere that are being fat shamed. And I said, husband, don't you dare talk about my body this way. And then the whole thread is going to be, not the asshole, you stood up for yourself, you're so brave. Not the asshole, you're such a brave person, like, good for you. You mean ex-husband, right? That's going to be the, let's see what we got here, okay? Good luck. Ever since I had some months ago, my husband has started making indirect comments about my body. He never says any hurtful words, but I find his observations, as he calls it, hurtful. For example, he'd see me wearing an old top and say, oh, that top used to look good on you, but not anymore, though. And when he looks at my waist and says, wow, didn't know your waist could get this wide. Basically passive stuff that I try to ignore till it extended to friends and family. FYI, this went on for months and months and months. We went to a Christmas celebration at his family's home. My sister-in-law complimented my floral maxi dress, and my husband says, I agree, it looks nice on you, though I have to admit that your waist could get smaller than this. Awkward silence took over. I was absolutely fuming. This was my last straw, so I got up from my chair in the middle of dinner and shouted at the top of my lungs, shut the fuck up about my body. He was absolutely speechless as his family stared while some others tried to get me to calm down, but situations got more tense and dinner ended up being a cut short. My husband storming off to his friend's place to spend the night upon leaving a very nasty text saying I embarrassed him and made a scene over an observation he made. He called me childish, told me to get therapy for my insecurities instead of verbally abusing him and scarring his family. Nice. Okay, well, we got that part down. Let's see what the top response is. Not the asshole what your husband is. Nice. Divorce him, he's gaslighting you. Jesus Christ. Gaslighting. He is actively body shaming you, likely on purpose and fully aware. He is abusing you. What would you make of the situation? The husband sounds autistic as fuck. But the problem is that if you act autistic for a long fucking time and nobody calls you out on it, you don't realize how fucking stupid you're being. So he probably made a comment and she doesn't say anything, and he's done this and nobody's like said like, hey bro, you're fucking retarded. Why the fuck are you saying stupid shit like this? You used to look good in this. You realize how fucking stupid that is? Like, I remember when we were younger and your dick used to get harder. You fucking loser. Like, why would you ever say, like, the husband's like a fucking moron. But if she's like let all these comments slide for months and months and months and she hasn't said anything, then he's in his head thinking, oh, it's probably okay, it's whatever, she doesn't care. So then for him to like blow up, or for her to blow up, he's probably like, wait, what the fuck, where did this come from? But yeah, he sounds like he's, I don't know how else to say it, but it's fucking autistic. Like, what if she was like 150 pounds and she's been gaining a shitload of weight and she's not 300 pounds? It doesn't matter. You shouldn't make passive aggressive comments or autistically stupid comments about people's weight. Like, you should just not. Like, don't be a dumb fuck.
If the only gatekeepers to movie stardom came from Tarantino and Scorsese, I would never have had the opportunity to lead a $400 million plus movie. Bracing for loser internet trolls like, stop fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking... I'll be whipping your ass up and down this street.
Is that drama I smell? So if you've been out of the loop, let me catch you up on what's been happening between Tarantino, Marvel, and Simu Liu. Film Gob over on Twitter made a very good thread breaking it down, so I'm going to be using that as an outline, as well as just adding some of my own thoughts to it. So on a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave, which sounds like an old school shock video from back in the day, hashtag remember Two Girls, One Cup, Quentin talked about Marvel movies for a little bit, and the whole section is about 3 minutes long, but here's the main takeaway from it.
Part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is, it's the, you have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters, yeah. But they're not movie stars.
Right.
Captain America is the star.
Right.
Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think that's been said a zillion times. But it's like, it's these franchise characters that become a star.
There's like a point in there that is a little bit kind of sort of true. But I think that some of the actors, transcend the characters or create the characters. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Like, I think the casting for that was incredibly important. I feel like for all the good or bad things you could say about the MCU, they did a really good job casting almost everybody. They did a really good job casting. I feel like almost everybody. The casting for I'm trying to think if there's anybody I don't like. Hawkeye? That no one cares about that character. Fuck that guy. Yeah, Chris Evans did a really good job as Captain America. Even Chris Pratt, for the Guardians of the Galaxy guy, I thought was a really good choice. And I don't normally like him in most of the stuff he's in, but I like him in Guardians of the Galaxy. Captain Marvel lady wasn't great. That's true. Although I don't know how much of that was the casting versus the actual character kind of sucked. For like most of the original crew, I feel like the casting was really important. I feel like the actors themselves did a good job at like making those characters enjoyable. But his point is that all actors become intrinsically linked to the superhero character. He's not saying they did a bad job. That's true, actually. That might be true. Well, that's not true for Chris Evans. He's done a lot of other things. Robert Downey Jr. was in a lot before the Marvel movies. Did he do films afterwards? Hemsworth is probably going to do, or has been in other things. I don't know. I guess I can kind of see that, how the characters become really big because they're associated with the heroes. That might be true. But doesn't that kind of happen with everything, where like people get heavily associated with a popular role they do and then they can't get away from it? Tom Cruise was supposed to be the original Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. was chosen. That would have been horrible. Yeah, I think he maybe could have pulled it off, but I don't think I would want to see Tom Cruise roped into like a whole universe like that. I think I'd rather see him doing action movies and shit.
My first thought upon hearing this was, yeah, that sounds about right. This isn't the first time I've heard someone say this. Hell, Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon, said this like 5 years ago. How the movie star is dying and it's really all just about the brand. Now, I always thought that everyone kinda knew this. The vast majority of people aren't watching Marvel movies because they care about the star. They care about the character. And some people are going just because it has the Marvel logo on it, which is to be expected. And really looking at the actors casted in these movies, only a few of them were really established before they joined the MCU. The biggest one being Samuel L. Jackson, of course. Then who else? Maybe Brie Larson? I know some people would consider Robert Downey Jr. a star, but to be fair, Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes are what revived his career. He wasn't this big draw in 2008 like he became after Iron Man, and it took more than just a Marvel movie to do that. So yeah, he made a huge career comeback after Iron Man, but in 2008, not so much. And then I would say Benedict Cumberbatch. He was already well established before Doctor Strange. But yeah, so for most of these actors, they were relatively unknown until they joined the MCU. But the movie still did pretty damn well, so clearly people were there for the character, which again isn't a surprise. People were fans of the character long before the movie came out. This applies not only to Marvel but to DC as well. It's a comic book movie, so it's only natural that the real draw are the heroes that are getting adapted. Although over the last 5 or 10 years, it seems like the brand and logo is way more important now than ever. It seems like they cast just about anyone into these films now as their heroes, because the actors aren't the draw. So in turn, they aren't creating movie stars. It's the character and brand that people want to see. So now enter Simu Liu, who clearly took offense to what Tarantino said, and he also mentioned Scorsese, because he said years ago that superhero films aren't cinema, that they're theme park rides. But in the post, he talked about being the leading man for a $400 million film and whatnot, as well as calling Scorsese and Tarantino gatekeepers.
Damn.
And people were just dunking on him and dragging him in the replies.
No, I'm a star! Please, I'm a star!
And then in a follow-up tweet, he mentioned how happy he is to be part of a company that strives for diversity. So someone did a little comparison between Tarantino movies and Marvel's films. And statistically speaking, Tarantino movies are actually more diverse. All this response is pretty damn funny. Number of occurrences of ninja in Tarantino movies, 250. Really? That's it? I just thought it was more.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Honestly, to me, this second tweet feels like a last-ditch effort to get more support after he realized he was getting dragged in the replies. But the real takeaway is that he's kind of proven Tarantino's point, even if he doesn't know it. Because people saw Shang-Chi not because it starred Simu Liu, they saw it because they want to see Shang-Chi. They went because it's a Shang-Chi movie, not because it's a Simu Liu movie. This is his biggest role, so he had 0 star power before this, so he obviously wasn't the draw. But despite that, the movie was still pretty successful, showing that people care more about the character, so realistically, Disney could have put any unknown actor in that role. And and it could have been just fine. But I don't think he really grasps that, so that's what makes his tweets so damn funny. He seems to think that he's a bigger deal than what he really is, because in reality, he's exactly the example of what Tarantino is talking about. I mean, look at these actors outside of their MCU projects. Not many of them are as successful as their Marvel films. Robert Downey Jr., of course, is the exception, maybe Chris Evans, but for the vast majority, none of them hit the heights of their MCU films. I'm talking, of course, about the actors who were relatively unknown before they joined the MCU, not the already established ones like Samuel L. Jackson, Brie Larson, or Benedict Cumberbatch. Really, all it just goes to show how well Marvel and Disney have the average moviegoing audience on lock, because they're able to put their logos on the movies and shows, and they perform pretty well regardless of the quality or who's really in them. So yes, Tarantino is right, and I was under the impression that everyone kind of knew this for years. Now, some might say that Tarantino is biased because of an issue between him and Disney back when Hateful Eight was releasing. If you didn't know, back in 2015 when Hateful Eight was about to premiere, it was going to be playing the same holiday season as The Force Awakens, and they both were going to be playing at a theater called the Cinerama Dome in LA. For the first 2 weeks, it would do Force Awakens, and for the next 2 weeks, it would do the Hateful Eight. But Disney wanted the entire holiday season booked, so they gave the theater an ultimatum. If they agree to play the Hateful Eight, then Disney's not going to play Star Wars in their theater, and so the Hateful Eight was dropped. There's a video online of Tarantino going in more detail about it, but that's the long and short of it.
They are going out of their way to fuck me.
But since then, he said several things about Marvel and Disney. Hell, even recently, he said Marvel directors were just hired hands, and that he wouldn't work for Marvel because he's not looking for a job. This, of course, is referring to the fact that Marvel and Disney just hired directors to shoot the movies that they already have.
Did you hear Andrew Tate got arrested?
Very little creative input.
Really?
Hell, even again recently on the Howard Stern show, he was talking about his issues with Marvel films as well. So this madman's been on a rampage.
Why the need for so much gruesome, graphic violence? Why not let us imagine
Because it's so much fun, Jan. Get it?
And that's basically all there is. I don't have anything else to add, really. But since we're talking about Tarantino, and I'll never have an opportunity to mention this again, I want to do it now. So recently I got the Hateful Eight on Blu-ray. Looking good, looking snazzy, but more importantly, I found a Blu-ray steelbook of Django Unchained at Walmart for literally $7. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, then you already know, but still I want to share. Because goddamn, look at this thing. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Let's wrap this video up.
D is silent here, baby.
So I want you to go ahead, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the situation. Is Tarantino right? Do people care more about the character than the actual star? Or maybe they care more about the brand and logo than anything else? And is that a bad thing? Leave a comment, let me know. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. And I want to give a nice big shout out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Another thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that got controversial was the Bruce Lee scenes. Yeah, a lot of people felt like you made Bruce Lee into an asshole.
Yeah, well, okay, that's okay. I'm a little hesitant to talk about this because I don't want like this to be the only thing, all right, that people pull from this show. But I figured you were going to bring it up especially because I've heard you guys go back and forth on it in a little bit. I mean, where I'm coming from is I can understand his daughter having a problem with it. It's her fucking father, all right? I get that. But anybody else, go suck a dick.
Is it the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie? Because he made him seem like an asshole? Is that what this is in reference to?
You know, and the thing about it, though, is, like, you know, even if you just look at it, it's obvious Cliff tricked him.
Destiny.
That's how he was able to do it.
Did you hear about Andrew Tate getting arrested? I just want to make sure that you know that Andrew Tate was arrested.
It's explained more in the book, but the thing is, like, they do a two falls out of three contest.
Mm-hmm.
So Cliff loves shit like that, you know, and he has a method, and his method is to give the guy the first fall. Okay, do your fucking move, dude.
Right.
Let me see your move. All right, and he gives him no resistance whatsoever. But the guy does the move. He knocks him on his ass. And Cliff...
The video is way too low.
Like 4 different ways Bruce could have come at him the second time.
There you go.
That Cliff would have had very little defense against. But most of the time, if a guy has a particular move and it looks like the guy's a lunkhead, just a big mouth, who can't really defend himself, they do the second move again. I mean, they do the first move again, second time. Well, now Cliff knows what it is. So he prepares for it, he pivots, he catches him, he throws his ass into the car.
Right.
You know, and now the third time will be the charm and he gets broken up. But he just tricked him. And Bruce realized he got tricked. If Cliff hadn't been so vicious, he could have even appreciated it.
Do you know about the history of Bruce Lee and
Jean LaBelle? Yeah, of course.
Did you research that before?
Yeah, well, I've always known it and everything. And like, well, the stuntmen hated Bruce.
Really?
On Green Hornet. No, it's in Matthew Polly's book, and before that, it's always been known. That's why Gene LaBelle was brought on, to teach Bruce respect for American stuntmen. Bruce had nothing but disrespect for stuntmen, and he was always hitting them.
Damn.
He was always hitting them with his feet. He was always tagging. It's called tagging. When you hit a stuntman for real. And he was always tagging him with his feet, and he was always tagging him with his fist, and they got to be the point where like, no, I refuse to work with him.
Really?
And he had nothing but disrespect for American stuntmen.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder what that was about. I wonder what his perspective would have been if somebody asked him to explain it.
It's like, they're just not good enough. They're pussies. I want to make it look real.
Okay. So he was hitting him to make it look real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't like that.
No.
That's unprofessional.
Well, that is unprofessional, but that's been done before in a bunch of movies by people that say are assholes.
Yeah, and actually somebody else who had a reputation pretty similar to Bruce Lee's in that regards was like Robert Conrad.
Oh yeah.
During that time, yeah. And he did a lot of his own stunts, and he did some really, really gnarly shit. But and I've always been a big fan of Robert Conrad, but in the stunt community, he was known as Robert never met a stuntman he couldn't blame. Conrad.
The stunt world is a fucking crazy world because they're the people that occasionally die making movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is just nuts.
And look, and the thing about it is also, Cliff is a hand-to-hand combat killer. He, he fought in World War II. He fought with the Filipino resistant fighters, in the Philippines against the Japanese. If Cliff fought Bruce Lee at one of Aaron Banks's Madison Square Garden tournaments, Cliff wouldn't stand a chance against Bruce Lee at a Madison Square Garden martial arts tournament. But as a killer who has killed men before in a jungle, he'd kill Bruce Lee. He'd fucking kill him. Bruce Lee's not a killer. Bruce Lee's never really let loose on anybody. He's always had to keep it together in a martial arts tournament kind of way.
I don't know if this is fake or not. Fuck, I hate Bruce Lee. Did Bruce Lee kill a person on set before who came to fight him over some shit with his dad? Did this happen, or is this a fever dream? Am I imagining this? Why do you hate Bruce Lee? Because he never did any competition fighting, and his dick riders are like the worst types of people ever. That was Jackie Chan. Wait, was it? Why do I feel like maybe this was just a movie he was in, where some guy comes to start shit and they end up getting a fight on set, he like kills a dude. But that might have just been a movie. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. That was an urban myth replayed in one of his biopics. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so that didn't really happen. Oh yeah, Bruce Lee dick riders or people like Bruce Lee. I don't even know if Bruce Lee could have fought anybody in competition or won. I think he did like one thing ever. But like there are people that will say like, oh, Bruce Lee was the greatest fighter of all time, blah 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 blah. It's like, really? But like, prove it. Like, where do you see that happening? I don't know. It's just annoying. But biopics, not biopics. Biopics.
If he's actually facing a guy who could actually kill him, it's a different story. It's in the book. Bruce Lee realizes when Cliff takes a military hand-to-hand combat stance, he realizes, oh shit, this guy's a killer. This guy's not fighting me. He's fighting his instinct to kill me.
Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free only.
Okay.